There's a lot that's chilling right now. Over the weekend, we had some of the most violent scenes we had. We had the shutting down of the flights to the airport. You also have new language in the Chinese government-controlled media calling the protesters terrorists, and that's totally new language. The real question is this a bluff on President Xi Jinping's part to put pressure on the protesters to stand down a little bit? Can Hong Kong restore order itself? Giving the protesters a little bit what they want? It's looking more and more unlikely that that's the case. And so Beijing is saying, and I read regularly an editor of Global Times, Hu Xijin, and he says it is hoped, and he speaks for the government when he sends out these tweets, it is hoped Hong Kong can restore order by itself. That is the best end. If the development of the situation suggests there is no hope, Beijing's intervention will be inevitable. It's a hard choice, but once it becomes a decision, it will be a firm one. He very often is speaking for the government. I think we have to take for granted that in this case he is.
When the president says this is fundamentally an issue between China and Hong Kong, which is a part of China, do you think that position is will be enduring? If things escalate, will he be able to use that kind of language?
Well, let me talk about how the two things are linked, trade and Hong Kong. The move to December 15th is not an accidental move for the deadline for the tariffs for President Trump. October 1st is the 70th anniversary of the People's Republic. This is a really important time. President Xi cannot be shown to be weak either toward the United States on trade or toward the protesters in Hong Kong heading up to this anniversary. And he needs a clean Hong Kong before the anniversary, so you really have to imagine things are going to happen this month, early September at the very latest in Hong Kong, either order being restored in a normal way or the nightmare scenario, which is a violent crackdown in Hong Kong, which inevitably will worsen relations with the U.S. at the same time that the trade disputes continue. I think that's what everybody's really most worried about.
At the same time, Fred, Hong Kong is an important conduit for investment for China, including Xi's important Belt and Road Initiative. So it's not necessarily, I understand wanting to crack down and clean up the situation by that important anniversary, but there's a delicate balance also to be struck in that you don't want to make it seem like Hong Kong is no longer a financial center because you risk that investment not coming into China where it's needed.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that. I think the last thing President Xi Jinping wants to do is have to use force and military force with Beijing's fingerprints on it to bring this under control. But if he has no other choice, then maybe that's what he'll end up doing. There are also mixed feelings in China about Hong Kong. So the better Hong Kong does, on the one hand, it's really great for China, really great for Hong Kong. But there are also rival cities within China that wouldn't mind seeing Hong Kong being brought down a notch or two in terms of an attractive place for global investment.